Hello everyone, my name is Shumei Tang. It's nice to have this opportunity to present this article with my co-author Yanqi Zhuang in the 5th Borobudur International Symposium 2023. I am the Yanqi Zhuang. We are both from Asia University, Taiwan. Here, the article we are going to present is Traditional Knowledge and Intellectual Property Rights. We would discuss the difficulty to extend intellectual property rights to traditional knowledge because of the nature of that knowledge. Here is my brief introduction of myself. I achieved my law PhD degree from the University of Sheffield in the UK. After my graduation, I moved back to Taiwan and has acted several years as chairman for the financial and economic law at Asia University. I am also the chief editor of a magazine called Bioindustry Technology Management Review. I have a research interest in human dignity, informed consent, human subject research, fake news, and intellectual property rights. During my sabbatical leave, I had the privilege of being a visiting scholar at the Faculty of Law at the University of Oxford, Durham Law School, and the University of Edinburgh. What is traditional knowledge? Traditional knowledge refers to the knowledges, practices, skills, innovations, and wisdom that are developed, sustained within a community or culture over generations. Traditional knowledge is often deep rooted in the traditions, customs. There are some specific features of traditional knowledge: sustainability, biodiversity and ecology, community ownership, and adaptability. For community ownership, traditional knowledge is considered the collective property of the community. It's not owned by individuals, but is shared and held collectively. So in this article, I would discuss what's the challenge to apply traditional knowledge and into our intellectual property rights system. Traditional knowledge's value. Traditional knowledge holds significant value on various levels: cultural, social, environmental, and economic. Here are some aspects that highlight the value of traditional knowledge, including cultural and identity value, environmental and biodiversity value, medical and healthcare value, social-economic value, intellectual property and innovations, and global knowledge diversity. Recognize and valuing traditional knowledge is crucial for sustainable development, biodiversity conservation, and the well-being of the communities. So we need to care for this value, and we need to protect our traditional knowledge, how we can apply intellectual property system to traditional knowledge. The protection of traditional knowledge is an evolving field, and efforts are being made to recognize and protect the intellectual property rights of indigenous and local communities. Who developed traditional knowledge? Traditional knowledge actually is not developed by a single individual or group. Rather, it is a collective body of knowledge that has been developed and refined over generations within specific communities of cultures, so that efforts need to respect to protect traditional knowledge often involve recognizing the collective ownerships and the rights of indigenous and local communities over their knowledge system. Acknowledging the value of traditional knowledge can lead to more inclusive and collaborative approach that integrate traditional wisdom with contemporary practices for sustainable development. Who owns traditional knowledge? Traditional knowledge is typically considered the collective property of the community, as I mentioned before, or cultural group that has developed and preserved it over generations. Traditional knowledge is viewed as a shared and collective resources belonging to the entire community or cultural group. It is not the exclusive property of specific individuals. So now we are going to talk about the who benefit from traditional knowledge. The benefit derived from traditional knowledge extend to various stakeholders, including the communities that hold this knowledge, broader society, researchers, and in some cases, the global community. It is important to note that while various stakeholders can benefit from traditional knowledge, there are ethical considerations, particularly regarding the fair and equitable treatment of the communities that hold this knowledge. Issues such as biopiracy, unauthorized use, and the need for informed consent and benefit sharing agreement are critical aspects of the discussion surrounding traditional knowledge. So, efforts, as mentioned, are being made to develop legal frameworks and policies that respect the rights and interests of indigenous and local communities. With the development of the new kind of knowledge is necessary, the intellectual property right system has had to adapt and create new rights. There has been a growing recognition of the need for the intellectual property rights system to respond to the demand of various stakeholders, particularly indigenous communities, to protect and respect their traditional knowledges. So, for some intellectual property system, we call it trade secret protection approach protects traditional knowledge that is not yet in the public domain by keeping it confidential and legally safeguarded. Certification marks help identify, for example, Chinese medicine products and practices that meet certain standards or criteria ensuring their origin. Sui generis systems, which are unique tailored systems specifically protect the traditional knowledge separate from the standard intellectual property rights legislation. The Intergovernmental Committee on Intellectual Property and Genetic Resources, Traditional Knowledge and Folklore, IGC, that's established by WIPO is working on these issues. I'm ready now to draw a conclusion. Many economists claim that we are in a post-industrial era considered by the value of human capital, specifically technological knowledge. Superstanding material capital, knowledge economics includes scientific research and development. Its value is premised on the protection of intellectual property rights. Indeed, there has been a steady movement over the past 30 years to extend and maximize intellectual property rights. Some say to damage the obligation to the public interest. In this article, analysis of development in both Western and Eastern countries to regulate and govern traditional knowledge is very important and crucial. Especially like traditional medicine is useful to identify potential problems as well as opportunities for improvement of the healthcare system. Traditional medicine indeed is a treasure trove of indigenous knowledge for people. So we should protect and develop the, the value of traditional knowledge. The protection of intellectual property rights is crucial to stimulate research on traditional knowledge. Thank you for your listening.